presenting that. I think it's a form of art. And I do believe that there's value in what he's doing. So we certainly appreciate him, and like to thank Jeremy also for working with him and making sure that we are continually helping people that want to do things like this for our community. So thank you, Mr. Jeremy.
What happened?
Somebody else come in.
We might have lost here, Mr. Chairman. Did we lose you, Peggy? I think, did we lose,
Excuse me?
Okay, we thought we lost you there for a second.
No, I was done. Thank you. I'll yield to Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, go right ahead, sir.
Yes, I think my internet connection is set unstable, but can you guys hear me all right?
Yes,
now?
Can hear you fine, sir.
Great. Okay, thank you. Yes, I would also like to thank Mr. Isaac Romero. Looking back, it's just amazing what he's done. And then, of course, bringing our locals as well as visitors to the city, just, car enthusiasts. And I've realized over time that Isaac does a lot to promote our city, our community, and our people. And in talking to him recently, I just found out, I didn't realize it was this long, but he runs a men's basketball league, and he's done it for 50 years. Can you believe that? 50 years. So I was even asking him, what, did you start when you were 5? But so he's been doing that. In fact, currently it's at the, they have the basketball league on Sundays at the old administration building, the old central office for the schools. So with that, that's another positive activity, that he has led to be able to help the people, within the city and around our community. And I think, just us as a city, I would just like to give him a big thank you for that. And of course, for the car shows as well. So that's all I have to state, Mr. Chair. And again, I'm in full approval of this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Myself, I just want to thank Mr. Romero as well. It takes a lot to continue putting on an event like this, and it's not just a one-day event, but it's throughout the summer. So we have to give a lot of kudos for doing that. We can put that on our Facebook page, and it's especially for the different areas, just so that people know that that is the day that there will pretty much be lowriders on the plaza. And that way, hopefully, if anybody that's visiting that looks at the web pages or the Facebook pages will be able to schedule that around that time. So thank you so much. Can we have a vote on that, ma'am?
Chair Manuel Martinez.
For the motion.
Mayor Pro Tem Dennis T. Salazar.
For the motion.
Councilor Peggy Sue Martinez.
In favor.
Motion carries. So then we will move this up to full council. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Okay. The next we have, and it's just for discussion, is the memorandum of understanding between the city of Espanola and the Bedland Blood Services. Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So yes, a couple of weeks ago, I was reached out to by an individual who is working with the Los Alamos National Laboratory. And basically what they were doing is they were looking for a facility for the residents of the city of Espanola and the county of Rio Arriba who were LANL employees to be able to have a centralized location for them to donate blood. So this is actually going to be in conjunction with the Los Alamos National Laboratory and this company, Vitalent Blood Services. So basically what they're doing is they're requesting the use of the facility, the Educational Arts Center, to be able to host a blood drive once a month for those employees from the lab that live in the city of Espanola or the county of Rio Arriba, so that they can come and donate blood. Right now it's starting off in the beginning stages. So basically what we're looking at in the discussions that we've had is we want to open it up moving forward, depending on the amount of participation this location gets. We want to open it up to offer that to the city employees who wish to donate blood, as well as people in the community. But for right now, as it's starting off, it'll just be for those individuals who are employed at LANL. And so again, the city of Espanola just wants to continue to be a good neighbor and a good building up these good collaborative efforts with everyone, especially with the labs. So this is a government to government exchange. So that's one of the reasons why it was taken off, and more so just for a discussion. But I did discuss it with the interim city manager. She was on board with it. And so we're hoping that you all will be on board with it too. But just so that you have a heads up, they're looking at starting the first one on April 13th. And it'll be from 11 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. And we will definitely work with them as much as possible to ensure that it's a success and that we can continue to get people to come in and donate blood. With this whole situation with COVID, it has really put a scarce on the amount of blood that the blood banks have. And so this is a very important initiative, I think, in order to help build up the blood bank for people who may need that service.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem Dennis Tim? Any comments?
Nothing at this time. Thank you, sir.
Councilor Peggy Sue Martinez?
Thank you. I just, there again, you know, these relationships are very important, and I believe that the more collaboration we can have with other governing agencies surrounding us, the stronger we all are. There is a need for blood donations now that COVID has hit. There seems to be a special need for more. So anything that we can do to push this initiative forward, as far as mentioning it in our meeting, or perhaps even in the water bill, maybe something on the newsletter and the water bill, that would be good too. Just letting people know that there's an opportunity to donate blood here in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Yes, the more collaboration we can do with our neighbors, the better. We all are. But please make sure, and I know it doesn't have to be an action item on our agenda for the city council meeting, but for you to at least maybe even through comments that you mentioned that this is coming down for the people from Lano. And then of course, let us know once it can be opened up for city employees and perhaps other employees throughout the city. Other agencies that might want to participate with it as well for their employees.
Sounds good, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on now to department reports. First up is Mr. Jeremy Maestas, Director of Community Services, for a department overview, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the committee. I've been very busy, as all my departments have been very busy, as you mentioned earlier, Mr. Chair. Now that the restrictions on COVID have started to lift, we've been, even during the pandemic, the departments have been in full force and providing services. One of the things that we've discussed in our meetings is that we want to ensure that we're able to continue to provide services to the residents of the city and those people that depend on our services. So I just want to thank my staff for the phenomenal job they've done with all the obstacles that have definitely been thrown their way, and the different enhanced COVID safe practices that we've had to do, and all the obstacles they've had. So they definitely have done a phenomenal job in that aspect. Again, I just want to brief you on where I've been as far as working with collaboration with Kayla Norris, who is the community outreach specialist with Lano, and that was in regards to the blood drive and providing a space for her. I've also coordinated to have my park staff complete the cleanup efforts at the vacant lot next to Lucero Center. I don't know if you've passed through there, but they have completed that project and it is ready for the next phase of what's going to be happening there. So we're looking at constructing a parking lot there to make it more easy accessible for people who are coming to the parks for baseball games or stuff like that. So that is the initial plan of what we plan to do there, but the lot has been cleaned up. Also have worked with coordinating with the GSD and my recreation staff to address the current pool situation. We had a recent meeting to look at alternative measures on how we could ensure that the decisions that we were making as far as the operation of the pool right now were being made in the most effective and cost-effective manner that we could, to ensure that we weren't overusing or misusing, I guess, for lack of a better term, any type of energy, stuff like that. We want to make sure that we're being as conservative as possible. We did reopen city rentals to the public as of February 14th. So we did continue with that service. And I know that Amethyst and Dora have been getting bombarded with requests for city facilities, especially now that we're getting into the summer months for graduations, weddings, things like that. So we are seeing a spike in people wanting to rent the facilities. We did coordinate, or I did coordinate with senior staff to reopen for indoor dining as of February 7th. And I'm sure that Ms. Dora will cover that a little bit, but I do want to give the senior center staff some major kudos in regards to the fact that even when we had to close the facility, they continued working very diligently to ensure that meals were coming out of the senior center to go for them. And as soon as we told them, you know, it kind of seemed like a last minute thing, we're moving back to in person. Are you ready? They were ready. And so I give them a lot of kudos on that. Thank you, Dora, for you and your staff. You guys really did a phenomenal job on getting that taken care of and opened up for the seniors. They were so happy. They had a Valentine's Day dance and they had their little king and queen crowning, and they had a really, really good time. And I'm sure that Dora will elaborate a little bit more on that in her report. I have gotten some quotes, or I'm waiting to receive some quotes, should I say, to replace the signage over at the Veterans Memorial Park for the senior center. I don't know if you've passed through there. We have these really big brown signs that are really faded and really an eyesore, so to speak. So I have reached out to a sign company to get some replacement signs to put out there so that we can get those replaced. I've also been working with Maria to get some estimates for the replacement of the dugouts at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Park up here on the west side. The dugouts have, well, they're pretty much gone at this point, so we're working to get some estimates on that to get those replaced. So we'll get that done as quickly as we can. I've coordinated with the city attorney and recreation in order to revise the process for the Espanola Little League to ensure compliance with the Anti-Donation Act. So basically the process that had been followed in the past was not compliant. I'm not sure why that process was put into place, but in an effort to ensure that the safety is safe from any type of violation through the anti-donation, I want to ensure that we are going through the proper steps of having that organization come through the process of presenting to the committee what it is that they're expecting, getting the approval for co-sponsorship from the committee, and then onto the governing body. That practice has not been happening. And so we want to make sure that beginning as of this year, we're moving forward with that practice since we didn't have the Little League last year. So we definitely want to continue that partnership with them. Definitely want to continue that collaboration, but we need to ensure that the proper steps and measures are being taken as far as the city's part of it on that aspect. So I will be meeting with Maria and the president of the Little League, I believe next week on Wednesday. We have a meeting scheduled, so we'll discuss that further then. I'm sad to say that the Regional Development Corporation has ended their rental agreement with the city of Espanola and have officially moved out of the bond house. They ended up having to move to an office in Santa Fe because the individual that was running the program was not able to get employees that wanted to work in this area. And so for him to be coming down and trying to get people here was just not working out the way he wanted to. So they have ended their lease with us and they moved into Santa Fe. So today they gave us the keys and turned everything over. So I've been working with them on that end. One of the ideas that I had that I ran by the interim city manager in regards to that vacant space now at the chamber, at the bond house, was to relocate the Chamber of Commerce there. My thought process on that was by relocating the Chamber of Commerce to the bond house, I believe that it's going to begin a really good collaboration between the chamber and the San Gabriel Historical Society, because people who are coming wanting to know information about the city, whether it's about starting a business or moving to the area, what better place to have them go than to the bond house. And so the Chamber of Commerce is really excited about that. They really want to start working with San Gabriel, and it'll also help to ensure that I have somebody there throughout the course of the day. The chamber does have a part-time employee that is at work Monday through Friday from about 9 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock. And so this will help to ensure that there's somebody at the bond house throughout at least a good majority of the day for any traffic or anything like that. And it also is going to encourage people to come into the bond house. I know one of the things that I've heard since I got here is that we don't have the amount of traffic that we should have going into the bond house. And so in an effort to boost that, I thought that this would be a good collaboration. So the interim city manager and the mayor have agreed that they can move over to the bond house. So we're going to be working with them to get them moved in over there and get them collaborating with Ms. Lynette from the San Gabriel Historical Society. I've been working with Facility Build to complete the schematic drawings for Valdez Park for the renovation project. I did meet with our representative, Chris Lyer, on Thursday, February 17th. He has delivered those schematic drawings to me. It's still a preliminary plan, but we're making quite a bit of progress in that aspect of moving forward with the projects that we have for Valdez Park. So hopefully we'll get those finalized here soon and we can start getting shovel ready for these projects to start moving forward on that. So we're excited about that. I'm excited to say that we were fully funded on what we requested on capital outlay for $150,000 for replacement vehicles for the senior center. So I'm going to be working with the senior center supervisor in order for us to start getting quotes for replacement vehicles. I know that I brought this up quite a few times, but we need to get it, those replacement vehicles for our seniors, because right now what they have is not compatible for what they need. So we worked very hard on lobbying to get money to ensure that our seniors had vehicles that were properly equipped and ready for their transporting to and from the center and the other activities that Dora tends to do with our seniors. So we want to make sure that they're being able to be transported safely on that. So we're working on that. I also, in regards to capital outlay, I'm happy to say that we have gotten, it appears as to my discussion with the interim city manager today, that we did get fully funded for what we requested for the repairs at the Mission.
Yes.
So I believe that was about 480-some thousand or somewhere in that, yeah, somewhere in that ballpark, which is gonna be a really big help for us because every time it snows, it's like it starts to form a big puddle in there because of the leakage that we have. And so this is really gonna help, I believe, in that request. Also part of the request was, the amount that we requested was for not only the roofing project, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that it also included the HVAC system for that facility. So that would be a really good thing if that's the case, so that we can get that moving. So that's really exciting on that part of it as well. Continued daily staff meetings, discussions with regards to questions or concerns in each of the departments. Been working with the department heads to fill the department vacancies. It looks like we're moving forward with filling the assistant cook position that we've had in the senior center for quite some time right now. We had some vacancies in the library that look like those are going to be getting filled here fairly quickly. And then also we have a position in the recreation department that hopefully will be getting filled within the next couple of weeks or so. And then we do have some vacancies in the parks department that we're going to be looking at getting filled just as soon as we can. And the last thing I have is that we have the community services department has been working extremely diligently with our city clerk's office to ensure that they have whatever assistance they need. Amethyst provided quite a bit of assistance to them with early voting. And we also did inform the city clerk that if there was anything that she needed on her end for election day, community services was more than ready and willing to help step up and provide whatever assistance we can to her to make sure that the election goes as smoothly as possible, because I know firsthand the stress that can be put on with all that's happening on election day, and we definitely want to be able to provide whatever support we can to her. I stand for any questions, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, if there are any.
Thank you, Mr. Maestas. Mayor Pro Tem Dennis Tim, any questions or comments for Mr. Maestas, sir?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. As far as Mr. Maestas goes, thank you for the very thorough report. I'm also very happy to see the funding being able to come in. I know there's a need for vehicles, of course, and it's just crazy, just the wear and tear. Of course, now for COVID, that kind of slowed things down. But of course, now that we're moving past this, I know the senior center is going to be having more activities outside of the center, trips and so on. So I think now is the perfect time for all of this to happen. And just that in itself is huge. And of course, lobbying the funding and trying to get money for improvements for our facilities and for our people. So I'm just very thankful for that. And thanks again for the report, Mr. Maestas.
Thanks, sir.
Councilor Peggy Martinez.
Thank you, Chairman Martinez. Thank you, Mr. Jeremy, for everything you're doing for our community. Your energy is unbelievable, and it's evident that you're very passionate about what you're working on. I especially like the idea of the possibility of moving the Chamber of Commerce up to the bond house. I think that's a really good idea, because I feel like we as a community have sort of disconnected from that entity, and in order to bring new business and to help businesses along in our community, we really have to be engaged not only with them, but also with the Small Business Center. So I'm really glad that is a possibility, that we may be able to move them up there. And possibly forge better relationships and better connections and better communication with that entity. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just one more thing, if I could, I forgot to mention that I did get reached out to by the Ms. Monica Vigil Garcia from the Carlos Vigil Middle School. And I guess the kids are working on a project to beautify their school, and they asked if the city would be willing to assist them with their project. They're gonna be planting some trees. And so I did discuss that with the interim city manager, and we have quite a bit of trees that were initially purchased through the courts. And so I'm gonna be working with courts to see how we can assist them in that effort to provide some of those trees for them to plant over there at their school. Right, just again to build up those collaborations. And then also the other thing I'm looking at trying to get going is a collaboration with the schools on possibly starting a docent program with San Gabriel, so that we can have now during the summer when the kids need something to do, maybe we can work something out where we can have the kids come in and get trained as docents. So that's another thing that we're gonna be looking at. So I'll update that as soon as I get more info on that.
Thank you, sir. As far as myself, sir, again, very well informative on your overview of all that's going on in your department, sir. And your staff working great. On the replacement vehicles, are we looking at vans? Are we looking at cars, or what are we looking at replacing or adding?
So right now, what we're looking at is we are looking at vans, handicap accessible vans. And then if money allows, we'd also like to see about getting a pickup for the senior center in order for them to be able to transport equipment and stuff like that they need. So right now, for sure vans, and then dependent on where we're at with the finances, we'll consider possibly looking at a pickup, a small pickup.
Okay, on the pool situation, will Ms. Sandoval be giving us a little bit more detail of what's going on, where we're at on that as far as being able to fix the issue of Heather?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, yes, Maria will, she's been spearheading that, her and Ashley have been spearheading that initiative, so she will definitely be providing more update on that.
Okay, and how are we on the Ranchitos Park?
The Ranchitos Park, I did talk to the city interim manager today in regards to where we're at with the funding on that. She said we were just waiting on one last thing, but it looked like we were pretty much headed in the right direction as far as getting those funds released to us. We did get the additional funds that we had requested. And so right now it's just a matter of waiting for them to say, here's the check, and we'll be moving on.
Then we can run with it.
And we can run with it, yes, sir.
All righty, well, thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you, for the input here. We'll go ahead and move on to the Beatriz Martinez Senior Center with reports and updates with Ms. Dora Terrazas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. As Jeremy mentioned, our revenue has been coming up regardless if we're closed in dining or open now. Of course, with the opening back up, it has definitely gotten a lot of more patrons in coming in to eat. I know that Rio Riva still hasn't opened their doors to any of the senior centers, so we are definitely getting more people in. And I just want to say thank you, Jeremy, for the support and for getting us that money with much needed vans that the seniors do need. I just wanted to say thank you for that. Our rentals are picking up as well. We are the only facilities that are renting now. I do have just a few days left from April, May, June, all the way through July. So if anybody is needing those days, it's a first come, first serve. The deposit will save your date. So you have 2 weeks prior to your event to be able to pay off the fees that are in the rental itself. I wanna say congratulations to Ms. Helen and her partner Ross Quintana, who were the king and queen for our Valentine's dance. The seniors did have a blast. Other people who actually attended the dance itself, we had Cielo Azul, who played for us. It was a very low fee for us to pay them. Those funds came out of the fundraising that the senior committee has done. You know, they haven't done too much of the fundraising, but they have had a couple of cakewalks and that actually paid for that dance. They are looking to do another spring dance and cakewalks and to raise money for a few more arts and crafts. Right now, they were working on making a couple of centerpieces for the tables, which they actually did for Valentine's, which look very nice. They're looking at making some now for St. Patrick's Day. It's just, little arts and crafts that they enjoy doing and making themselves proud and to be able to do stuff like that. They are happy to see a little bit of commotion as far as the dance, as far as their small trips. We do take them to things here in town. They sometimes stop at the general dollar, to go and get some stuff. They do go to the yard sales or, little things. Right now it's a little cold, which aren't too many out there, but they enjoy, the ins and outs, even if they're short ones, to go get an ice cream or, donuts at Dino's. And they love their cookies, of course, in the mornings, even though most of them are diabetic, but hey, who doesn't want to go happy, so they enjoy it, of course, the socialization that we give these seniors is what they look forward to. Having that center open means a lot to them.
I'll tell you a little story on what you just mentioned about them all being diabetics. A coworker of mine, her mother's is 97 years old. And she took her to the doctor and she told the doctor, what, can you please say something to my mother? All she does is drink Dr. Peppers all day long. And all he could tell her was, your mom's 97, let her be all the Dr. Pepper she wants.
So that's basically what they tell us too. He goes, as long as we're happy, that's.
Leave us alone.
Yeah, leave them alone. So we do want look for volunteer musicians. So Mr. Manny, I know you're one of our musicians here, so you are welcome to come and give them an entertainment, from time to time. They love to hear the music, and some of them, even with their walkers, they'll go out there and they'll dance and they'll enjoy the music. They love the music. It makes them move. I wanted to say we get quite a bit of compliments from everybody that has gone to eat over there. I know several of the counselors, especially, thank you, Peggy Sue, that is always there for the table tacos. And we are getting very, very busy, and the whole center kind of gets full as well now that we reopen, especially on that day. But all the food is actually very good. So put the word out there to your friends, come and eat, and we'll always welcome anybody.
Thank you. Councilor Martinez,
We do have a vaccination.
Yes, thank you.
We do have a vaccination coming up with FEMA apparently scheduled with Jeff on the parking lot on March 9th, 9 to 2. So they can actually call Jeff on 692-3307 for more information on that. But apparently it's going to be just a roundabout, get your vaccination and go.
Cool.
Any questions?
And Councilor Martinez, go ahead.
Did you call on me, Chairman? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Go
Thank
right
you.
ahead. Questions or comments that you have?
To Ms. Terrazas, you're doing an incredible job for the city of Espanola. I want to say thank you to you and your staff, specifically Yvonne Velasco and Gabriela, who comes up from the Art Center to help as often as she can. And you guys all are just doing a tremendous job with the meals, and so many people are so pleased with the meals that they're picking up to go and the service that they're getting from you guys, and we really appreciate that. I want to let you know that on the day of the Valentine's dance, I ran into Miss Helen Maestas right after the dance, and she was actually going home to get put to bed because she was so tired. She had danced all afternoon. And I got to see the pictures of her and the king that you guys named King. And I have to say that's some of the cutest things I've ever seen. And I would really like for them to be recognized in a regular city meeting. I really felt that it was very, very well honored award to give them, because they are Espanolans and have been forever. And she's always been very involved with a lot of things here in our community and very outgoing and very outspoken. And I really feel like it would be nice if we would recognize them in a regular meeting. And again, thank you for everything you're doing, Ms. Terrazas. You're doing an incredible job for us. We appreciate you.
Thank you. You guys can always find the menu online as well. Thanks to Ms. Sherry's staff, they're always putting it up on the website, so anybody has access on there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank the entire senior staff for their continued hard work day in and day out in serving our seniors to the best of their ability. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we know as far as the food, it speaks for itself. I do have a question, as far as with mandate being open, or taken up as far as masks and of course the health order. Are you guys going full-fledged as far as not having to wear masks when they come in with the seniors, or is it on a if you want to basis, or how's that working right now?
I actually announced the order from our city manager to as far as how it was, so we basically left it on them, but for the most part, a lot of them are still wearing it because I told them it is for their protection and they are at high risk.
Yeah.
So regardless, of what the governor passes, that mask is there to protect themselves and to protect the rest of them, especially because we are getting big crowds and they are standing in line. It's kind of hard to keep them the 6 feet apart. For the most part, most of them are still wearing their masks. Yes.
Great. And are we going back to business as usual as far as bingo and other activities? Everything's
Yeah, we still have the bingo going Monday through Thursday. So if we didn't have that one, they would have probably already chopped their heads off.
yeah. Jeremy would have been the first one on the
Yes.
block.
Well, I will say that I worked very hard to get up a new bingo board. Me and Dora finally got up a new
Sure did,
bingo board, so they're happy.
They were very happy to see
Gotta
that.
keep them happy. Well, thank you. Thank you for your
You're
report.
welcome.
Next up is the Espanola Public Library with Ms. Sherry Aragon.
Good evening, Chairman and Councilors. The month of January, we actually had some different programs going on at the library. Not very many people were coming in. I think in the past 2 weeks, we've actually had some more usage of the library. We've extended our hours of using the computer back to an hour compared to the 30 minutes we had. We have a lot of people coming in using their laptops, so that's good. We also have our New Mexico State tax forms that are in right now. And we also have the federal forms that are coming in. Those ones were a bit slow, but we actually have those ones coming in. And we also did a legal help for seniors or the elderly program on February 15th. And we had about 4 people in attendance, and that one, they cover power of attorney, probate, non-probate, advanced healthcare directives. And we'll actually have another one coming up in March. Again, that's brought to you by the state library, and those ones are all free for the people of the valley. We still do our grab and go craft bags. March or February was a short one, so we actually have very few weeks there that we were doing those. And as you can see, our computer usage is going back up to 231. A lot of the times, compared to last year's usage was very low. Our revenue has also gone back up 572.20 for the month of January, and I think that's pretty good compared to 0 from last year. And we're just doing businesses always, every day, just helping people and doing all the things that they need to get done. Hopefully we'll, as Mr. Maestas said, we will be filling our position for the part-time library clerk. And we are still taking applications for the full-time position right now, so. And hopefully those ones will be filled also. But I still have 2 other workers who are they're doing their best, and a lot of my staff was female when I first started in the library. Now I have 2 male staff members, and they're the best ones that I've had so far. So they've really stepped up and they're working really hard right now.
Good.
And I think that's about it. Any questions?
Mayor Pro Tem Dennis Tim?
Thank you, Chairman. It's just funny because places I go, whether it's Walmart or to Food King or, anywhere, people will stop me and I'll talk to them for a little bit. And, we talk a little bit about the city, and a lot of the conversation always leads back to the library, and either they went themselves or their grandchildren or their kids or brothers or sisters or, so on. There's always somebody within the family that goes, and I hear nothing but positive feedback about Sherry and Sherry's entire staff, just treating people with the utmost respect. And they just, have the best time there. They're able to find everything that they need, and a very helpful staff as well. So Sherry, you and your staff, I just want to once again, thank you so much. And we appreciate all you guys do, and keep on shining. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilor Peggy Sue Martinez?
Thank you. I'll echo Mayor Pro Tem's comments and just say thank you guys so much for everything you're doing at the library. The COVID situation certainly changed the way we do things, but you guys have adjusted so well. So thanks again.
Thank you, ma'am. Echoing on them, you guys have done a fantastic job. Like Mayor Pro Tem says, everything I hear is great things about the library. As far as I'm concerned, I remember going there as a kid myself, taking my kids, and now my daughter's taking my grandkids there. So it's wonderful to see that, and it just keeps getting better.
Thank you.
And so thank you. I do notice that you have curbside hours, Monday through Friday, 10 to 11, 3 to 4. Is that still going to be in effect
Oh, yes, it
moving
is.
forward?
Yeah, yes, it is, because a lot of people don't want to, they're still kind of, hesitant to come into the library or public places. So we're still have that in effect right now. So, and that goes for craft bags also. And, as long as we can do it curbside.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Sherry.
You're welcome.
We're going to move on to Recreation Department reports and updates with Ms. Maria Sandoval.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh,
Mr.
sorry,
Chair,
go ahead.
okay, thank you, sir. If I could just say one more thing, when Chairman Manny mentioned that, he would take his kids to the library, I think he forgot to mention that he would take his way younger brother, Brian, and Brian's friend, Danny, to the library as well. So
I was trying to leave that out,
Yeah, I just had to tease about that. So, thank you.
That's because just so much, Ms. Sherry's looking at me right now, Dennis, just so you know. I think I'll explain that. Dennis and my brother went to school since elementary, so that's why. And I'm just a little bit older than them.
Well, you probably remember the shag carpet in the library then.
Yes, I do.
Right.
Thank you for reminding me that I can get the senior discount at the VHS.
Sorry about that, sir.
Go ahead, Ms. Sandoval. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Martinez, and good evening, councilors and everyone present here. As you notice, as far as the monthly reports, we did pretty good. We have been doing pretty good so far, considering the situation, of course. Now that the mandate has been lifted, wow, we are being bombarded. And of course, people still come in with their mask, and some of them, on an average, go back, and then they come back, and they come back with it. And of course, because of my staff being diligent, you gotta wear your mask. And so now that they don't tell them anything, they're kind of like, okay, what's happening? So, then they ask, pardon me, is the mask, only if you'd like to wear it, but it's up to you for now.
So now I wear
So some of them are used to it. And so a lot of the patrons are using it. So that's a good thing to see. Moving on to aquatics. I'm sort of sad to say that the particular pre-bid meeting that we just had on the 24th, it didn't go pretty much through because nobody came. Nobody was present as far as who wanted to do the bid on that. So pretty much that particular item went out the door, and now we're going to see who is going to be able to or wants to pretty much do it. I have to say that we did get a call from Mr. Yates, the gentleman who actually renovated the pool itself prior to this particular problem happening. And he will definitely give us a quote sometime tomorrow, if not by the end of the week. From what I understand, he is looking into doing both the gutter system as well as a surge pit. Because the particular pool cannot be emptied more than once. So if it goes into phases, we don't want to empty it out again. So he wants to do it all in once. So let's hope for a good amount as far as his quote is concerned. So as far as recreational activities, it's been pretty busy. The new thing that I'm trying to deal with is, which is the co-ed basketball. It has been asked by pretty much mainly adults to carry that particular program, and at first I was like, well, let's try to see how it goes. And so right now there are 6 teams, and hopefully it'll start this Thursday at 7 o'clock. Trying to do a pretty much basketball for little kids, because we don't have the baskets that can go lower. A lot of the times if I do that, it would be mainly for them to quote unquote be there to practice their dribbling skills or blocking, things like that. But for shooting, it would be detrimental, because then they will get a very bad form, because they would have to go from all the way down here in order to shoot all the way up. And so that's, for little kids is not really a good thing to do. And instead we would have to get lower baskets in order for them to do that. So that's in the works. That's an idea so far. In regards to fitness classes, they're ongoing. Thankfully, the Strong Women's program, they average, and along with Gino, they average about 10 to 11 people. Let's see, Thursdays is Gino's, and then Monday, Wednesdays is the Strong Women's program, which is not bad for them. I will be resubmitting the use of the Espanola High School Stadium to host the mini Olympics. I have not gone away from that idea. That is still happening, and I know that due to COVID. But now that the restrictions are being lifted, I'm hoping that it goes through. Fingers crossed. I'm also working in a summer camp program. It's not necessarily easy on that end. So far it'll be more in terms of very, I want to say not extended hours, but somewhat low hours, simply because we will not have the staffing for it. In order to have the staffing, each person would have to get paid. And right now, I am noticing that nobody wants to deal with children, a group of children, more than 20 kids for no $12 an hour for an 8-hour day. And so right now I'm trying to, be more in terms of creating an idea as to, okay, how am I going to be able to provide this without having to pay someone so much, but still get the program going. So, fingers crossed, something will come up with that. And there are some ideas there. And the quads volleyball tournament, it was incredibly fun. As you pretty much notice here, there were some from the surrounding communities, 3 teams, 1 from Albuquerque and 4 local teams. So, the word is getting out, as far as that's concerned. With that, I'm also working with the Oaxaca, I believe it's, they are having, well, not they are having, they usually have a, one to two teams that are, traveling teams. And so for the most part, because they don't have a place to practice, they're using our gymnasium in order to practice. And the faster that, especially the girls, if they don't bring their coach, then for the most part, they're able to use our open gym ball, which means that they only pay, each person pays $1.50 in order to play, whether an hour to 2 hours, depending. Anytime that their coach is there, that's totally different, because then it's more private. Then the coach doesn't want anybody else in there. So when the girls are in there, anybody can join. And that's, more accessible. It makes them work harder, to say the least, because they're by themselves type of thing. And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's not, because then they don't work as hard as when the coach is there. Come to think, and for the most part, for everybody's information as well, I've been getting swamped in regards to what's going on with the money that the county received for either a new building or not a new building. Is it going to be for the Lucero Center? So all these questions I'm getting bombarded with almost on a daily basis. On that quads tournament, I was a couple of parents, three individuals who are locals as well, who are parents themselves and were players. They were asking about that, and I said, you know what? This is the only thing I can tell you. We don't know yet. It's in the works. It's in the meetings as far as what's going to happen with that. We are hoping that the county agrees to let us use the money so that we can expand in this Lucero Center, but we don't know just yet. So far, that's on the table. Other than that, let's see. Softball, as you know, the weather is turning out to be better. The rental for the softball fields, I'm getting also a lot of applications to rent the softball fields. One of them is definitely ready, the other one not so much. We are working with or collaborating with McCurdy Charter School, which uses our facility up there for their home games for girls softball. I'm also working with Marcos, who's our electrician from General Services Department, in order to see how many scoreboards are still in good use and how many are not, so that we can definitely get them out of the way, because they're an eyesore, especially up at Ranchitos. So if they're not good anymore, yeah, let's get rid of them. We do have one particular scoreboard that it can either replace the one at Ranchitos, or it can be put up at the Sportsplex in order to give more, a little more a good look as far as one of the fields for the charter school McCurdy, because they're using our fields. And of course, anytime any other high schools come in and they see our facility, first it's really good, it's really nice, the fields are really nice. Imagine now having a scoreboard. That gives it a good boost there. There's registrations for softball, the men's league and the women's league ongoing right now. I hate to say that the EDCA, which is the Espanola Valley children's activities, I believe, which are the ones that deal mainly with basketball. They're not going to do it at all this time around. Hopefully by next year. So we basically collaborate with them. They give us information in regards to where to register, and if whether or not they need to use our facility, the same thing, in order to practice, things like that. But right now, because the public schools are not letting them in, they're not going to be doing anything. We also collaborate with the Espanola Sun Devils in terms of cheers for competitions and things like that. So they use our facilities. The Little League Baseball, as my supervisor Jeremy Maestas mentioned, we are going to meet with Pam Alcala sometime either this week or next, in order to further, the, collaboration with them as to what they need and what we need from them as well. Let's see. That's pretty much it. I stand for questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Counselor Peggy Sue Martinez.
I don't know how you do it, Maria. I'm tired, listening to you switch channels on me very quickly. I have one thought after another thought after another thought after another thought. You know, concerning, the baseball situation, what, I heard you talking about, of course, Jeremy thinking about redoing the way that we collaborate with them. Have we heard anything on when they're going to start or what's going on with that?
Yes, registration is ongoing right now. Their first game will be in April, if I'm not mistaken, the second week of April.
Where
There'll be
do
the
people
first-
register? Do you know?
Yeah, it'll be online. It'll be, if anybody goes into, Little League in Espanola, New Mexico, it'll, show them, you know, several other venues, of course, or
Okay,
pages. And then as long as they see sombrero, sombrero.com, that's the one.
sombrero.
But I have more information if you'd like me to forward it to you.
Could you send me a text to my cell phone, please, with the information?
Sure, absolutely.
Everything else, what's going on with the swimming pool? Did you say that that we couldn't get a contractor, that nobody bid it?
For the pre-bid RFP, nobody came in to bid a second time around. So because it's the second time around, now it's gonna be off of RFP. So now it's anybody who would like to bid. If
Okay.
they don't have to come in order to see it or anything like that. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, do we have we don't have an estimated time at all for when that could be up and running or anything, right?
I wish, but no, ma'am.
I'm sure you get bombarded with the same calls we do get bombarded. People call me all the time asking me about that, and I'm sad because we haven't had resolve for that. So everything else, I think you guys are doing really good. I've been in the gym myself, not as often as I should go, of course. But I do see that everybody is following protocols. Everybody's cleaning up after themselves, spraying the machines down, spraying the weights down. The Lucero Center looks very clean, and you're doing a tremendous job also, Maria. So thank you for everything you're doing, okay?
Thank you, Peggy. Councilor Martinez, sorry.
Before I go on to Mayor Pro Tem, yes, Mr. Jeremy, I believe you want to.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, honorable members of the committee, Councilor Peggy Sue Martinez. So just to add on to what Maria relayed, so initially, when we did the bids out for the repairs at the pool, we did have some bids. However, the bids that we received were well over the price range that we were able to, or that we had budgeted for the project. So then we put it out to rebid, and when it came back again for the rebid, as Maria mentioned, we did not receive anybody that came in to put in a bid at that point. I think one of the obstacles that we're facing at this point is the amount of money that we're budgeted for this program, or excuse me, not this program, this project. And so that's really one of the main issues that we're facing, and why it's holding us up so much is because the amounts that people are bidding are just not what the city has budgeted in order to address this project. So we're trying to figure out a way how we can get the work completed in the amount that we have budgeted for this specific project. And so initially, the concern that we all have expressed is that when the city went into the works to have the pool repaired, while they did a phenomenal job on the exterior part of the facility, the interior part was not addressed, which is now the situation that we're in and the problems that we're dealing with, because that interior portion of the pool was not addressed the way it should have been. And so right now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how we're gonna do it, but also remain in budget with the money that we have. So just for clarification on that point as well.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Can I have the floor, sir?
Go right ahead.
Thank you. I really feel like we need we need a really good scope of work on this situation. And I'm wondering if there's any chance that whatever is going on with the system, whether it's shifting on the foundation or whatever is going on down there, I wonder if any of that would be possibly covered by our insurance.
Mr. Chair, Counselor Peggy Sue Martinez, I don't know that it would necessarily be covered under the insurance because we do have a small issue with the foundation, but that's not the primary issue that we're having. It's actually with the drainage system. Is that right, Maria?
Correct.
The drainage system is the issue that we're seeing, which is initially causing some issues with the foundation of the facility, but the foundation isn't necessarily the main issue. It's just the drainage itself and the what's the word of those things, Maria, where the water that they're looking at replacing, what is it
Surge
called?
pit,
Yeah, the surge pit and those areas.
Say that again, Maria, I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
the surge pit, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Okay, so, you know, I really feel like the swimming pool is very important to our community, and I really hate to see it down, especially for so long. And I feel like we should try and see if we can address this during a budgetary meeting and see if we could possibly come up with more funding. I don't know how far away the bids were. Can you give me a rough estimate, Mr. Jeremy?
Mr. Chair, Counselor Peggy Sue Martinez, I'll defer that to Maria because I think she might have better numbers than I do on it. Can you elaborate on that,
Yeah,
Maria?
the first bid was almost at 200,000, which, you know, essentially on our budget, it's only for 100,000 according to Jeff Sargent. One of the things that I mentioned at the pre-bid meeting, if I may, Councilor Martinez, was that we do have within the city, local individuals who have worked in pools and are very knowledgeable.
Mhm.
However, due to the fact that they are not licensed, we can't get them. Now, one of the things that, and it was a good idea by interim city manager, was that why don't we connect with them and tell them, can you pretty much meet with whoever you're working with so that they can let you use their license so that you can use our, you know, do our pools. So that was an idea. And right now I'm in the works of contacting some of the people that I know who are construction workers and have worked with pools, if they can possibly do that. I don't know. So there's an idea.
Just a quick question on that. Is
Well,
the cost?
I
coming-
don't think, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, Manny.
That's fine. I was just gonna say, is the cost coming in high because there's a lack of experts in this particular area, or is it because of the cost that it's rising when it comes to parts and that kind of, or is it labor costs, or it's just general?
Both, unfortunately, yes, both.
Okay, go ahead, Councilor Martinez.
Thank you. So I don't think 200,000 to repair that pool is over and exceeding. I think it's very important to the community, and I think that if they already had identified the 100,000, I think that it's possible that we could possibly bring that number up to get that work done. I'm hopeful. I don't know exactly where we're at on the budget as of yet for third quarter, but hopefully even with year-end cost savings or something like that, we would be able to push this out because I think it's very important. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor Pro Tem, Dennis Ten.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this was some very good information right here that, you know, that was just discussed. I do agree as far as the pool goes, it's just, you know, something very popular within our community. And I agree with Councilor Peggy Sue that maybe sometime in the near future, we could look at some kind of a budget session or whatever we could possibly do with the council to figure this out, because yeah, this is just something, of course, for an aging facility as well. So I think we need to really look at that more in depth and, see what kind of solutions we could possibly come up with. Also, as Councillor Peggy Sue mentioned, I think I just got tired from listening to Maria of all the work of all the multitasking, and it's yeah. So then to actually do that, it's
You know
just,
what's funny
of
is
course,
I kept thinking that she was gonna stop with everything she was saying. I was thinking that that was her last thing, and then she just kept going and going and going.
that's what I was waiting for too, and then just the next and the next. So yeah, thank you and your staff for all your hard work, Maria, and of course multitasking many things, juggling. I think you're a professional juggler now, so with that, we really appreciate that. And then now that we're really getting past COVID, I think things are going to really take off, as long as no other things come up with COVID as well, and start to, I think, as far as Chair Manny mentioned, like kind of so-called semi-normal kind of life we're moving back into, but it's kind of good now for the warmer months as well. So with that said, I think that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Anything else, sir?
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the committee, yes, I just want to again thank Maria. She has a lot to say, but it's because she has a lot of things going on in her department, and she is very diligent and very faithful. Sometimes I have to shoo her away because she's just so thorough on what she does, and I really appreciate that we have somebody as dedicated as her leading the recreation department. So thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
I think
Yay, you're awesome, Maria. Thank you.
I think you have a great team here.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. Jeremy. I mean, all of you guys work so well. You guys work well together. And you guys have your departments, and like it's great to see that all of you collaborate and help each other out whenever it's needed. And that teamwork is what's really necessary to continue the success you guys are doing. So congratulations on all of that for all of you.
Thank you.
And hopefully moving forward, things will get to semi-normal, and then we'll be here a lot longer listening to Miss Sandoval here with her all the activities that she'll be doing. But we look forward to our next meeting. Again, our next meeting will be on the 14th. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that is correct. It's not going to be on the third Monday as it typically is. I apologize about that, but I do have a prior engagement that I wouldn't be able to be here. So thank you for allowing us to change that to the 14th, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have, does anybody have an issue with the 14th as far as the date? Okay, good. We'll go ahead and set that up for the 14th. With that said, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you guys all so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You have a good evening.
Good night.
Good evening.